The Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derbies and the 2016 Bash for Cash. Demo Derby Masters. Winter Slam 2016. Ultimate Derby and Blizzard Bash and Capital City Carnage. Sciapa Racing and SciapaRacing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel at RecklessAbandonGear.com. And Derby Inc. Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Mark.
Never happened, buddy.
Yes, it will.
Oh, man. Never. You just missed the most classic slap and tickle fight between Brian Tompkins and Josh Decker. Oh, holy cow.
Slap and tickle fight.
Absolutely.
There was no slapping, just tickling. I just held his hands.
No, Josh was definitely open hand slapping you in your giant bald head. That was outstanding.
If he was, I never felt it.
That was well, I mean, he's not a big guy. He doesn't have hard.
You know,
what?
There will be the day.
Seems like you guys are auditioning for Brokeback.
Go ahead, Ben.
You're all touchy-feely over there.
Don't.
I caught him for a loss for words.
No, yeah, I'd start like antagonizing, but I really don't want to fight Ben.
He's squirming.
I'll fight Brian all day. But I'm not fighting Ben.
Just remember, with one hand, I was holding your arm.
You were out of breath about to pass out in
No,
30 seconds.
I can outlast
so
hard.
I can outlast that. I can
That's
take
because
your
I
beat
was.
for 30 seconds.
That's because I was laughing
I
so
just learned
hard.
your weakness that quick.
Cardio.
You are like the
That's
hippo.
weakness.
You are like King Hippo.
I was laughing so
Again,
hard.
Mike Tyson.
That's how slow you were. Oh, true. You said it too. No. I'm that mad.
Josh, I'll come over and kiss you right on there in front of everybody.
I'll knock your teeth in.
Oh, man.
Listen.
It'll be the day we became enemies. I'll tell you that much right now.
If 100 different people text into Chris Marquardt during this show, I will kiss Josh Decker on there in front of everybody.
Now Chris's phone's going to blow up.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
thanks.
100 different people text Chris Marquardt in the next hour.
I already got one.
All right, keep going. 99 more.
That took no time. That was way faster than it should have.
It was faster. 100 people told me to jump kick Brian across that table, and I'll do it. And I got boots on. Let's move on. All right. Sorry.
Oh, goodness.
Dysfunctional in here tonight, boys.
Brian.
And March isn't that far away.
March isn't far away, brother. We're going to be in a tube for hours going to Kansas.
So Merry Christmas to everybody. Episode number 160 of the Crash Course. Dan Bolton and Jeremy Gulley joining us here in studio. That's why the kids are on their best behavior, showing off for all their new friends. Paul Cox is going to be joining us on the hotline to talk a little bit about his run coming up at Mania. Dan Bolton's going to be running out there with him. At this point, I'm just going to sit back and wait till it's time to call Paul Cox, because you guys seem like you're having a ball of fun. I'll just keep changing the camera.
I'm not having that much fun. Brian was pissing me off. But I kept the seat. If anyone knows, Brian has spent the last 40 minutes trying to get this seat.
Go
He
on.
said he was going to make me cry. I said, make me. I'm not crying. I'm not.
Pouting. You're pouting. You're pouting.
It's fine. But I got you.
Right.
I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe.
Face right there. I got you. I got you.
I'm still in this chair.
Oh.
You'd have to jump in so tight on that microphone. Dan might, but you're good.
Oh, I'm
you're
sorry.
so loud. You're perfect.
I'm good?
You got, yeah, you're always
I'm
loud.
sorry.
Dan can
Sorry about that.
hold off a little bit. So Jeremy's already got the trailer loaded up for New Year's Eve. Jeremy Gulley
Yeah.
hauling a
Drove by
couple cars
yesterday.
up for New Year's. Got the Crown Vic and the
That Vic is like bash clean. It's
really.
yeah. If I known it was that clean, I wouldn't give it to you.
Yes, that's. I like the sounds of all that. All that.
I
Keep
would.
going. Tell me more.
It's black front to back. It's only got. I did donuts in it the other day before I loaded it. It was pretty nice.
That's cool. Fender's all mashed in it now.
No. Just peeled some of the dry rotted tire off. That's
That's
all.
fine.
Trying to help you
Tires
out.
don't matter.
No, not at all.
Just get ready for the burnouts in the parking lot at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So, Chris,
Oh, can we do that?
absolutely.
Unload it after 2 bottles of Jaeger done.
Absolutely.
Oh, great idea.
Definitely.
So
Or if we can go over and use the whole Walmart parking lot if you want. That's even
I like
better.
that idea a lot better because I would like to use a Holiday Inn again next year. Just saying.
You take it to the car wash. That's next door.
Yeah. If we get really intoxicated, we can drive her up Trash Mountain.
Kids don't
Why
drive
do you got to be
this at home.
intoxicated to do that?
I like
Smell.
I like,
Smell won't bother you as much if you're drunk.
I like what Jeremy's thinking.
Gully, what
Till
year's
back-
that? What year's that Ram?
I don't know.
You don't know?
94 to 02.
No, you know what it is.
No, I don't really. I think it's like a 99.
You told me it was a 97, then you told me
Might
it was
be
a
a
91.
97.
You told me it was an 01. You told me it was a 94.
No, it's 90. It's a 94 to 01 because it's a 1500.
If you look at some of the posts online, you can find all different years for that truck.
Yeah.
It is a
fine.
nice looking truck, though. We drove
It
by
is.
it yesterday.
It doesn't come with a plow or the light,
No.
so settle down there. It's going to be a
No,
derby
it doesn't
truck.
come with a
Hold
plow.
that plow in the back and lay it
No.
right down.
And it quit running on me when I took the plow off. I unhooked the ground somewhere. I got to try to figure that out or not worry about it, one or the other.
I wouldn't worry about it.
That wouldn't worry about
It's got a brand new
It's got all the stuff to make
Assault.
a carburetor, right?
Assault 65K HEI distributor, brand new, still in the box. It's got a brand new intake gasket set to change it over to carb. And it's got a brand new Magnum intake. I can't remember who makes it. Protel, somebody. And everything you need to swap it over.
Did Decker do an
new setup.
advertisement?
412.
Decker do an advertisement?
No,
with the
I didn't
intake
do a
yet?
44
I will. That's why it piss people off.
I got a 4412 to go right on that now.
I don't have a carburetor
you do.
for it. But
I like
that's
that.
what I run them on. Is I run the adapter,
Mm-hmm.
4-barrel, 2-barrel adapter with the 4412s.
I see that was the talk on Facebook today. Somebody put up the
Firster.
Firster
Put it on
asked who thought what was between the 4412 and the 2Gs.
Yeah,
And different guys were going down through
and not
talking.
not comparing and bagging. He says all out.
Well,
frame
actually,
bending.
Firster and I started private messaging about it, actually, because I had said to him, and some people are going to tell me I'm an idiot, and I'm fine with it. But, and Jeremy Gard would say 2G, and Jeremy Gard knows his shit. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But I used to run 2Gs for a while, for like years and years, and I had two good motors I ran them on. And then I got a brand new Holly. And I put that Holly on them same two motors, and I could tell a difference myself. I thought that those two motors come to life a little bit better with my Holly. And I told Chris that. And he's like, I just want to be in it, and I don't want it to starve, and I worry a 2G would starve. And I said, I've never run into my Hollies starving. So,
And there's guys
But-
that have their 2Gs that don't starve.
That's true. That's very
it's
true.
All,
It's all-
I
it's very
think what
true.
it comes down is preference, basically.
I don't think so. I think it's not even preference. It's the ability to
Yeah.
tune it
tune it,
Yes.
per
and
your
it
motor.
is so much easier to tune a Holly than it is to tune a 2G. In order to change the float level on a 2G, you got to take the whole top of the carburetor off.
That's very true.
Right.
And if you don't know what you're doing, you'll hurt yourself more than you'll help yourself.
But then again, also, is if you don't know how to work on the 4412s, you fuck shit up
YouTube
too.
will tell you how to work on a 4412.
Okay, I agree with
Well,
Gully. No, he's
To a
right.
point,
He's right.
Yeah, but it's still to get it good. I mean, you got to have some talent to do it. I know a lot of guys that have ran them and had issues, and I know guys that have ran 2Gs and had issues. It's just my thing is, and I've talked to some people, is I just think the 2G, I think there's less that can go wrong. Is how I feel. I don't know, right, wrong, or different, but I just think with the 4412, there's a few more moving parts, and kind of at times can give you more of a headache. But I mean, again, it's
All what you're comfortable with. Like
Yeah,
you
I
said.
never really had any Holly problems. A couple times I got gunk in them. Was totally my own fault. And you peel them apart and clean it all out, put it back together. I didn't even take it off the motor.
Didn't you guys have an Edelbrock on that motor for Bash last year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Did you like it?
not really.
No.
No.
I mean, Mike Brown got it running a lot better than it was, but I definitely would have rather had a Holly. You could. Ben's maybe could say no, but I think a Holly with that motor would have run a lot more better throttle response. Personally, I didn't like that old rock. I never have. Never have.
No.
I mean, it ran good, and when you're in it, it's in it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's dumping gas, but it's just that first little bit of snap. And I know guys will say like, no, I can get your 4-barrel to snap like a 4412. I can't, so I just am gonna stick with my 4412.
Chris, what do you think?
Well, I love the Edelbrock that I had. I had one on a
Dodge minivan?
440. Huh? I don't remember that, but I lost a lot of memory that day. I can't account for anything before the age of 7. But anyway, I had one on a big block 440 that I had, and that only had like 40,000 miles on it. And we put that was like I think that was like a 600 CFM carburetor though. So I mean that was a little bit different world than what we're talking about now.
Put a little more fuel to it.
And it would go. I mean, it would go right now whenever you wanted it to. You could spin one wheel on that all day because the gears weren't welded.
Could have welded that up for you.
Could have.
Cool.
I would have brought it over to your dad. Could have taken care of that, right?
By me, I was going to volunteer Ben. But, my dad could do it too.
I like my Edelbrock, so that's all I run. Ben knows.
But Dan, seriously, one day,
Yeah.
let's just take your motor, run it, pull your carb off, and let me bring over a 4412, and let's just put it on.
Yeah.
Day to day, same thing, everything, tune up. And let's just see if you feel that there's a difference. And you might say
I
no.
should try something else.
But I did that
That's all I've ever
exact
ran,
thing.
There's probably, I'm not arguing that fact. There's probably something else out there better.
Well, as soon as, because I love the 2G, because I used to run whatever, but then I went to the 2G and I really, really liked it. And I was telling Firster, the positive of a 2G is you can bolt it right to a Chevy intake or a 360 Chrysler intake. You don't need adapters.
Right.
But with a 4412, you have to have an adapter with whatever motor you're going to put it on, right? I don't think it sits on anything.
A Ford, I think it'll sit on a Ford 302 intake, maybe.
So really, that's a negative.
Who runs
of a,
Fords anyways?
Nobody.
Jump.
Ben Hoss.
They're junk.
Ron McClung runs Ford engines, doesn't he?
Jumped by them.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah, but they're still fuel injected.
Some Fords put a hurting on. Usually every time I go out there and run against them Fords, I get beat by them. It's a numbers game.
Dan, when you building, because you're building another motor for what's his name to run, right? Paul to run. Let's stick a Holly on it. I said, give you one of my extra Hollies. You run a
We're
Holly.
gonna build
on
him a
one.
small block though, right?
No. We aren't.
Come on.
You know what, man? I'm not impressed.
You just
with
bought a
Magnus.
small block transmission,
We're not
Yeah,
impressed
but
with your
that's
big
going on
block.
that Hemi.
fresh rebuilt.
Who did?
You did.
How do you know?
Because I knew you
Yeah, I did. Geez, you're right on top of things,
did.
man.
Yeah.
Ben usually is.
You don't miss nothing.
Not usually.
That's why he's top inspector in the business.
Absolutely.
No. Far from that.
But no, yeah, that. You know that guy bought that from? Ben?
Mhm.
Is he a pretty decent guy?
Oh, yeah. He just had it rebuilt.
Okay.
Guy rebuilt it, and he's going to put it on a big block motor.
Oh, Mikey's transmission?
Yep.
Brand new torque converter, brand new.
Good. So
Everything's
that's
brand new.
Good.
Yep.
Because you can't mount a big block to the Hemi. So a small block will fit that.
That's going to be a lot of horsepower in that motor, or that tranny.
Yeah, we'll see. Probably blow it right out.
Wait, a Hemi will only bolt a small block 727?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep.
And then, interesting.
Well, you probably going to mess with the torque converter, don't you?
Yeah, there's spacing issues there, everything. There's starters.
ATI makes everything though.
It's all
Right.
there.
It's all there.
just-
ATI makes it.
You're talking $5,000 for the package.
Jesus.
Have you talked to other people? Have
Man,
other
I should have
people
been a
done
heavy
this?
equipment operator.
Have you got to hear some other motor? I'm interested in this now that you're.
Not on a derby track, no way. I don't think anybody's done it.
Well, I'm interested.
But they're doing it swaps, A-body swaps. They're
A-bodies
doing
are
it
doing
all
a lot
the
of
time.
A-body swaps. We've seen doing it, yeah.
But it's
But they're not getting them hot.
And so are they like? Well, I guess we'll have to see.
well, it's no different than Logan.
It's no different than LS, really. I mean, same
6.0 or
concept.
6.1 LS that Logan was running all summer. It's the same idea. Converted.
Definitely ain't the same one.
No.
Because the one Logan was running.
Disgusting.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
He took
Awesome.
an LS and
Right.
converted
Yeah.
it. I'm pretty sure it's carbureted, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the one. That was like the one the guy won or ran in Minnesota last year, Winter Slam.
Yeah, that was Wensler, Wensler.
Windsor Machine. They went through.
Yeah,
and
they converted
can-
it over, but that one Logan's got that's
Yeah, but that's like a 6.6 or
Yeah,
something like that.
he's got
It's
that
a 6.2,
board.
I think, is
And that's
6.2
got-
board
that's got
over or something.
Bottom end work. That's got all
yeah,
kinds of stuff.
that was his
done to
pulling
it.
truck motor. He said.
Yeah.
Anytime
I
that car was on the track, you could tell which
Oh,
one it was.
Man, that thing was sick.
I want something like
He needs
that.
to put that in a
I
heavier
mean,
car
Can
though.
you imagine that kind of power, Josh?
Hell yeah!
Oh, that'd
Just
be
the whole
awesome.
crowd is staring at you every time you're in that
Every
Well,
gas.
you've been in.
Every person is
We've
staring
been
at
in
you.
cars with that much power.
Not as loud as that one.
Something about that motor stood out. I don't know what it was.
Well, because the rest of them aren't as loud, probably is a little bit of that. But you know, I've been talking to some LS guys that like just with a cam and some for $700, you can make them things push 700-800 horse.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
you're not even getting to the bottom.
700?
Yeah, but then you got to worry about getting a transmission to hold behind it.
That's why I
Exactly.
wanted to go
I
where
know.
Dan was going because I've had this talk with I don't want to say who, but a Hemi, the trannies behind them from the factory, are they electronic?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was talking to somebody that these LSs, guys are burning out LSs, trannies behind LSs like crazy, right? Hypothetically, could it be that a manual body transmission cannot keep up with the RPMs of just beating the hell out of it, as well as electronic ones? And if guys changed and started running electronic trannies behind LSs, would they hold up better?
No, I don't think electronics would.
That's
Like
why
it's
guys
the
are running.
wiring's not, the electronics aren't going to hold up. I don't think.
That's why guys are running standards.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I'm just asking because we know that 400s and 350s are getting burnt out like crazy behind LSs.
Well, I think a lot of guys are learning the high stall converter lesson.
That's
with
not working.
Versus horsepower.
I agree with that. I just wondered because I wonder how Dan goes and then bolting the 727 to it. Will it be like an LS where Dan's burning the trannies up like crazy?
But the thing is, though,
it's
with
7,000 RPM the whole night.
Whoa.
In theory,
Not that
though,
Dan will
with
ever do
those with those
4 minutes.
with those motors, though,
Junkin' bolt.
the idea behind those motors is that you don't have to turn them that much because they have the horsepower all the way up through. That's really the idea behind it. You know, that's why they've advanced the way they have.
Broad power band.
Yeah, really, they aren't built for that. But I mean, so when you try to do it, you know, it's going to break whatever's the weakest part in the system. So I mean, if the tranny is the next weakest, that's what's going to go. But I mean, really, you know,
Mopar's never been a strong point with their trannies, so.
Jake
Well,
Sherman.
that's what I'm saying.
yes,
Jake
I mean,
Sherman-
not for Derby. No, you're right.
Jake Sherman just chimed in. He said he's seen plenty of big power this year, and most of the time the drivers couldn't even keep the car straight. You can't control it, especially if you're.
I've
You
always
wanna
said
call
that.
the
There's
steering
no
wheel
reason
there.
for 700 horse on
We
a
had
track.
that talk yesterday.
No reason.
No.
We had that talk yesterday.
I mean,
No, that's a big
especially if
dick
you
club
can't
right
get
there.
it to the ground.
Yeah.
The only place I could see the big horsepower was an advantage, definitely, was Blizzard Bash before they changed the berms. Because the guys with the big horsepower push the guys over berms. They got beautiful straight cars, fresh cars for the feature, and you got 5 cars on a berm.
Did you
4 cars on
see
a
some
berm.
of the brackets that were proposed for this year at Blizzard Bash?
Yes, and I sent him a message. I said that is some cool shit. I don't know. Is that out to the public?
It's been proposed in a couple different circles. I don't believe that anything at this point has been determined as final, but there was one that was a proposed bracket where it was single elimination, which looked nasty. It would have
Badass.
required 32 teams of 4.
Wow.
16 matches in the opening round, and it pairs it down by 2 all the way to the feature. I don't believe that one's even close to going to be approved. I mean, there's no way that one's going to get approved because you're not going to go to Blizzard Bash and run a car that you built that heavy for one heat.
Yes, they would.
No, I don't.
Yes, they would.
Why not?
Yes, they would.
I don't think they would.
Yes, they would.
They're out there
For
killing
the
themselves
money,
now for nothing.
How he
Right.
pitched it to break down at the end for the money side of it and all that side of it, I actually love the idea. I
Why
think
not?
drivers-
Because
Badge
they
does-
could turn around. They could turn around and run the cars all summer long
Yeah, and
instead
never
of
bend
having
them.
to go in and rebuild them 4 times, 3 times, 4 times, go out and come out with a pile, versus going and running it once to take that shot. Absolutely.
And how many times have we heard people say, like, I don't want to go to, I'm not going to run Blizzard Bash this year. It's too much. It's too much. That weekend's too long. It's too much getting the cars ready in all the divisions. Imagine if a lot of guys, if you're out in the first round, you just go home. And if you're out the second day, then you just go home. Not as many guys are going to be just burnt out by the end of the week.
Right.
And
True.
I think that would turn on more drivers than turn off.
I like the bracket that we
And it's
had.
not that heavy of a build.
I like the bracket we had 2 years ago, where everybody ran 4 times, and they brought it back around. And I think it was the same as what we had this year.
Yeah,
Brought it back
didn't
around. The
change
B main winner on the loser side came back into the main event, and you had 5 teams on the track for the feature. I like
I
that.
like that.
A couple years ago, when Brent Clemens went,
It was one-on-one.
it
One
was
team on one team.
Brent Clemens and Bad Company, the Schilling team, the black, blue, and gray went nose to nose at the start with
Yep.
the underdogs. The year the underdogs won,
Yep.
and they ran the table. All 4 cars still run at the end.
I would try to get, I would think that guys would want to run less.
Mm-hmm.
No. Let me say that. Want to work on their cars less throughout the weekend. So if there's any ways, if these brackets could be, I think guys would be more pro for brackets that do it. 4 times is a lot of times. And these guys aren't building, like, they're not pulling one rail and laying a bead and saying good. I mean, they're like rebuilding whole cars.
Yeah,
Like
they're
in 4-hour
rebuilding
time
them.
periods.
They're
You know, they got 8
changing-
guys on them.
Changing multiple transmissions, changing multiple motors. I mean, it's
It burns guys out like the whole weekend of it. 4 times by the end of the week. I mean, guys are zombies on the last day. Zombies.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder how many more shows they run after that too. You know, shows
Well, none of them. They take a lot of time off before
Yeah.
they start back into it.
Yeah,
that's-
Garden.
caliber show like that. That's you put all your resources right into that one run.
Yes.
But it's not just the driver; it's a whole team.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
families.
it's,
The Hammer's weighing in.
Yeah,
shows like
you're
us,
talking
really?
times 4.
yeah,
You know?
4 cars.
That'd be sweet. Imagine having an army of guys like that just to help.
It's very cool to watch, man.
Josh Head does have an army of guys with the watch
My
or to help.
those crews are professional out there.
Yeah.
They are very impressive to watch.
Good
Hey,
guys.
you and me sit there watching Bobby Brockway's group. Holy cow. Holy cow. In the 5 minutes that we were there, I wouldn't even touch that thing.
No.
That's scrapyard bound. And they
Yeah.
pulled that out, cleaned it, and he ended up getting second.
And the car,
3 rounds later.
it didn't look any different when he got done than when
was
he drove
amazing.
it off that trailer. That front end locked in, and he was.
Rock hard. They figured that out. But Fix-It Plates. Fix-It Plates was in Bobby Broccoli's difference between his whole weekend, a stock 03 with no Fix-It Plates, how much he bent like crazy. Everywhere, all over. Couple Fix-It Plates, that thing was rock hard the rest of the weekend. It was interesting. We learned.
Look
Talked about
Look
that.
at Steve's car.
Oh, yeah.
He's locked in.
Yeah, that car was nasty.
Steve's was nasty.
And did you know, I'm sure.
They have a whole different concept about where to put the fix-it plates.
And I was
Where
talking
were they
to Steve
putting them?
after that show. That car is junk. They cut the good stuff out of it. They cut the motor train and run, shipped it.
Really?
Never be run again. I said something about running again. He's like, that's on its way to make Toyotas now. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yep, we're done.
Oh, Steve's car? Yeah, they learned what they wanted to learn.
That car was straight.
There's a lot of things. Jimmy Johnson and Geggs, they were all looking at it. They were looking at it, and there were a lot of different ideas that haven't been seen out there.
Definitely.
That just got seen.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Well, it's cool because then you walk over 2 pit stalls over and there's guys from Utah doing stuff totally different.
Way
And
out
we
left
learned
field.
some wicked cool stuff standing in the Utah, when they were doing
Dude, we
Fix-It
didn't
Plates.
even have to go to Utah. I learned some. I came at the right moment, at the right time in that pit.
When the Utah guys were doing stuff. Or are you saying other people? Yeah, I seen it. Well, yeah, Tice was
They're
in there.
pretty cool about it. You guys can hang out there and
Well, hey, I mean, but there's a respect thing there. I think
Yeah.
everyone has a respect level. Like when you see something and learn it inside that booth.
And Brad knows I'm not going to go, oh, yeah, by the way, on Facebook. This is what I seen him do.
Never.
No, absolutely
never,
not. Because
never.
if you weren't there at that moment in time, you wouldn't even have known it was done.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I thought it was the coolest thing I saw.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, these guys are
A
engineers.
couple comments coming in on the topic of the engineers. Eric Moulet, the hammer weighing in. 727s are great. They're amazing in straight lines. It's shifting that blanks them up. Jake Sherman, he's got a couple thoughts. A couple drivers said that they didn't want the bye heat because it was too far to travel, only to run once in the event you do lose. They'd rather run and get 2 chances. They take the chance, lose the first run, and then get sent home because they still get the chance to run. On the topic of, like Jake brought up in terms of Blizzard Bash with that first round bye that we encountered a couple times, that first round bye is not a favor.
No.
Because you don't get your fix-it plates after.
No.
If you don't run, you don't get your plates. And we saw Jamie Frost's team, they had to come out without the plates in their next outing. They did
That was,
okay, but nonetheless, they didn't get the plates.
Qualifying bracket.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
in
Team
the,
qualifying, yes.
That was qualifying bracket.
Qualifying
yeah.
bracket, yeah.
Yep. Their cars were straight, and they had 2 cars of the last 4 running, but it ended up being, I think it was Nathan Rohrback and Zach Ponzer that were the last 2 cars running because they got rid of those 2 local guys first before they beat on each other. That black and blue team, and then Dev's team Crazy Train, and then the black and green E2 team. They kind of were familiar with one another and worked together a little bit to make sure that they were the guys that were going to be battling for the money.
Yeah, and they did. It was a good show.
I hear what Jake's saying, but like Blizzard Bash is the national event, right? It is the Daytona. So I think they can make that bracket look any way it wants.
Hey,
They still will fill every.
You know what?
It's not about the money. It's about the bragging rights.
Yes.
to
Good
begin with.
comparison is Dent.
to the show,
Okay.
All them Dent shows. I mean, you had hundreds of guys going out to them Dent shows, and they only took X amount of guys out of each heat.
Right.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
You come out and ran, you didn't make that end of that heat,
Go
you're
home.
done.
You're done.
You're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
home.
Yeah.
And they weren't light build cars back then.
But isn't that what makes it elite?
Right.
Like it's hard to get there.
Absolutely.
It's not like everyone's going to make the feature. It ain't your
Yeah.
county fair. I mean, you got to work for that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Sam can almost do anything in Blizzard Bash, as long as he was trying to make the show better as a whole.
Yeah.
I think people would show up for it no matter what.
Well, we've seen him do that a bunch of times. We're going to come back here in just a minute and talk more about Team Derby. This time, though, we're going to turn our attention to Utah and talk with Paul Cox about Mania coming up. Dan Bolton's going to be heading out there. It's full. It filled quick, and we'll be out there.
Yeah, it's full.
And we'll be right back after this.
It's Truck Month at Layton Hills Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. You can get the best deals of the year on all of our Ram trucks in inventory. Plus, if you're a current or past customer at Layton Hills, we're offering you an additional $250 customer loyalty rebate. And if you live in northern Utah, we have an additional $250 Great Neighbor rebate too. So during Truck Month, we have a new 2016 Ram 1500 SLT Crew Cab. And after dealership discounts, customer cash, and Truck Month rebate, it's yours for only $39,115. We're going to take advantage of these savings during Truck Month at Layton Hills Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
You guys make it hard to keep the microphones open. It made me nervous. I started opening those. I know. I had them all.
Chris, you want me to take the board over?
No, I want you to stay right where you are. It was hard enough for you to get that seat as it was. Yeah. It was hard enough for you to get that seat as it was. Paul Cox joining us here on the line. Just want to tell you about a couple things coming up here before we get too far. Napa Auto Parts Winter Slam coming up just around the corner, February the 11th, about 2 months away from here. World Class 2,000 to win. That show's full. Stock 80s, 1,000 to win. Trucks, 1,000 to win. Compacts, 1,000 to win. Hardest hitters in each class, $300 in a trophy. Longest tows, $100. Second longest gets $75. Best paint throughout the whole event, $100 there. It's going to be February the 11th, 2017 in St. Peter, Minnesota. It's new home for this one. Grounds and vendor information. You can talk to Jeremy Ertman, 507-525-4290. That's 507-525-4290. If you have build questions, you can direct those to Randy Waslowski, 507-327-1944. Smash Demolition Derbies, they announced their approved vendors list for 2017. Derby tees, near it sliders, Big Rock, DEC headers, CIDS, Destroyer Demo Parts, Catskill Fabrication, and Ryan Ostrander, Lead Sled Wheels, Ski Inc., Joker Parts, Scott Derby Tires. Bash for Cash is going to be the May 26th through 28th. That's Memorial Day weekend, Chillicothe, Ohio. You can jump online, find out more information there, smashitderby.com. I saw Smash It was asking for input on extending one of their 80s wire class programs. It'd be kind of interesting to follow how that goes, running that format instead with heats with a feature, and they were paying something crazy like $8,000 with a decent payout pretty deep. We'll have to get a hold of those guys and find out if that's going to happen for this year or not. They got to get a hold of all the drivers, of course, first, and find out the guys that are pre-registered if they want to jump on board with that plan or not. Capital City Carnage, scheduled for March 17th and 18th, 2017 in Topeka, Kansas. 10,000 to win limited world class, 9,000 for second, 8,000 for third. You can figure out the pattern. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for 10th. $5,000 Mad Dog, $60,000 in total payout. $200 to end of the limited world class. It's a 100-car limit. You can email Kansas Ultimate Derby for additional details on that one. Ultimate Derby at www.ultimatederby.com. You're going to see the one and only Josh Decker driving with the more skilled of the two, Ben Host, in the tandem class, which they've opened up a few more seats for that. So it's just front to back. It's going to be an awesome show out there. That extreme class, I guess is what they're calling it, where Josh is going to be able to hold on the steering wheel in the most literal sense of the terms, and Ben's going to drive the car, operating the pedals, and thankfully the shifter. Otherwise, that night might be rather
I will be a true
short-lived.
steering wheel holder
Yes.
for that night.
Yes.
You know, ladle head.
No.
I want a steering wheel too.
No.
Yeah,
What's he going to hold on to when you're driving
You
around
should
the
have
track at 40?
negotiated this to start, bud.
I did.
You're gonna have to, that's what's going to have to slow you down. Is you don't have something to hold on to.
I better have
See-
a 5-point harness, son. 'Cause
Nope.
I ain't gonna have nothing to
Nope.
hold on to. I'll be
Nope.
going out the windshield.
No.
Old shit wheel. Hold right on, right, Gully?
Yeah.
You've been there and done that, haven't
We're
we?
going to
Chris,
see
how's
how
that
hard.
work?
We're going to see how hard
Don't
Ben
even hold on to
runs.
it.
How do those shit wheels work?
Don't even hold on to it.
All right, just checking.
We're going to
You know
see.
empty feeling in your stomach when you look down that track and somebody's lining you up for the passenger door.
If I
Hopefully
remember
Ben's
right.
doing the pounding, you know.
If I remember right, when I was sitting in the passenger at the store, I had both hands out the window waving at them. I was doing this.
Yeah, you did.
Was that before or after your shin bones were exposed?
That was after.
Way
I was just
after.
checking.
Shortly after.
Totally
It was pretty
adrenaline
early
rush.
when I split my leg open. It was early.
That might
He
have
had-
been the second hit.
He had to literally had the look of fear on his face when he was going up and down that track.
Now the truth comes out.
Now you look at the video. You could back me up on this, Jeremy. Don't hang me out to dry. I was waving those two on.
Chris was,
No,
Yeah,
when he
he
stopped
was waving.
screaming.
he
yeah.
was waving.
But the look on his face was priceless.
Hey, I kept asking him, "You good? Yeah, I'm good." So we'd throw another one.
Yeah, till his head
Another
went
track
out, till his
shot.
head went out the back window. Then he was thinking twice.
What are you gonna do? Full body numbness is typical, right?
All right. Hey, you
It's
know
fine.
what? We'll put a bench.
What makes
seat.
you a man.
We'll put a bench
Really.
seat in our Y-framer, and you can ride in the middle.
Dare you.
Listen, the
I'll
bench
run the
seat's
show.
going to be way
Let's
better
do
than the piece
this.
of junk that I was
Let's do
dealing with.
this. Let's put Brian in the back. We'll do a whole crash course.
I'll run
Right in
no,
the
no,
back.
I'll run the
Definitely.
whole
Brian's for
commentary.
weight.
Right
You're
in the
weight
back.
yeah, right over the rear, Brian.
I don't know if that's a
I'll
good
run the
idea.
whole commentary.
No,
you guys
I-
go out there. It'll be awesome.
That would be awesome. All you guys
We'll
in
put
the
you in the middle with a GoPro or a
Yeah.
The thing is, that would be way better than the
Yes.
broken
I
seat
like
that I
that.
was in the truck.
I like this
at least
idea.
the bench seat's not going to be chucking back
Well,
and forth
how come Jeremy came out of it unscathed?
because Jeremy's a driver.
All right, just wondering.
Good point.
I think that's a fair response.
And a
right?
man.
When I was a passenger, I didn't get so lucky. That Danny put me through the ringer on that one. That hurt.
hammer to you, old boy.
I had bruises from the bottom of my shoulder
Is that the
blades down
picture
to
you
my-
showed me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty sure there was some internal bleeding on that one.
It's fine.
I look over at Gulley, and he's like, all you see is like almost the bottom of his feet. He's tipped right over backwards, just about. And then he says, "Don't you shut that off." I'm like, Ben was looking at us, and because you could tell, I mean, he was hurting. He's like,
yeah, he
"Don't
was.
you shut it off." Floor. He kept yelling, "Floor."
He watch the GoPro footage. I'll put it up on YouTube. I told Ben, I said, "You stay over there and you shut up and drive." So I told Danny because he's like, "You all right? You all right? You all right?" Don't ever shut it off. Keep her going. I see Ben start heading towards the barriers, and I'm like, hey, he sees us. He ain't gonna let us keep going.
Well, Jeremy runs the wires. He touches the wires. I've always run push button toggle, so I was lost, like completely lost, trying to shift that thing. He's like, "Don't worry about it. I'll start it for you every time." So if you watch the video, he's reaching up there.
He's pulling himself up and pulling
Yep.
the seat back over. He's pulling up on the wires.
Well, we got the win though, man.
Yeah.
That was like one of the first times I ever won down there.
Well, spring
We
final.
beat Eric.
That was the first time I ever went. I went down there with you that year. That was the first time I went down with you.
I was up in the crow's nest that night, right? I
Yeah.
could hear you screaming.
Yeah.
I could hear you screaming from the crow's nest.
Didn't you have Trent with you too up
Yeah,
there?
and Bailey. Yeah, we were videotaping
Yeah,
it.
that was
Yeah,
awesome.
I do remember that.
That was a great day.
That was a great
That's
show.
some of bitches running.
Dan, your partner for May Mania's on the phone.
Cool.
Paul, how are you? Paul Cox?
Yeah,
Are you there? Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
You guys looking forward to May Mania?
Yeah, if I can start building some trucks, I'm gonna look forward to it.
Yeah. Well, Dan,
Got lots of work to do.
what are you guys building for that? Trucks.
I'm gonna be running a '65 Dodge, and then Dan's gonna be in a '63 Ford.
Sweet.
You aren't going to break out in highs in the Ford, are you,
I
Dano?
was just gonna say
I
that's
want to put that drivetrain to the test, baby.
That's what I like to hear.
Paul, Dan will hit you right off the gate.
Guaranteed.
Promise it.
just so you know.
Don't
Promise
say
it.
I didn't see you.
I don't know if we've ever been to a team show where one teammate flipped the other, but it's going to happen in May.
Paul Cox flipping damn Bolton.
Because they'll get pissed that you keep hitting them.
Yeah,
Definitely.
It's called retaliation every place else.
See, it's different with you guys because I've known you guys my whole life. But going out there,
So you can lie to them? Is that what you're saying? He was like, I'll run with you. Fingers are crossed behind
Dan
you.
doesn't know, but it got coming from all the way from New York. Talk about a target.
just like when I went to Ohio.
Yes, target. Well, you had a wagon.
Yeah,
and
you had a
in
wagon
Ohio.
there. Yeah, you were
It's-
popular.
Your target's going to be the size of a Goodyear blunt by the time we're done.
Yep.
Yes, I'll get right in there and hide behind Paul.
That's right.
But I don't know. Paul might have a bigger target on him than I do.
Nah, they're scared of him.
Is that true? The people in your home area are scared of you? That was Josh Decker that said that, by the way.
I don't know if they're scared of me, but I don't know. I don't know why they would be. I hit everybody the same, so.
I watch those videos. I watch
Wide
those
open.
videos, and no one attacks him. You know, like they don't even want a piece of it. You know, they're smart. They don't want him retaliating. I wouldn't. You're getting rolled.
Yep.
No.
So Dan, your game plan right now is to do a home and home, right? You're gonna go out to Utah, and then at some point Paul's coming out here. Have you guys done any research as to when that's gonna happen? When he might make his way to New York? Because we know how long it takes for you to build a truck, sell it, find a new one, and build it.
Yeah, that's true. You only got a few months. You got like 6 vehicles to sell before you start building.
I feel bad for him because he's got it all set in stone for us. I'm just waiting. After the first year, we should have a schedule out. And then,
Yeah, because a lot of promoters are up in the air what they want to do.
yeah,
and
you
what
know,
they're
I
going to do.
definitely want to run a podcast or a live stream show. you know,
Yes.
so everybody can see it.
Definitely.
He'd love to run that. I know he would, so he can watch back home. So as soon as we get the first of the year here, which is coming up,
It is coming
I'll
up.
pick a show and we'll
Coming up
we'll start.
fast.
Now out here, they allow passengers at a lot of places, right? So I've already called dibs. I don't care, Dan. I called dibs. I get it with Paul Cox. If we go to a place with passenger, I'm running with Paul. I get to sit.
But wait a minute. You told me that you wanted to knock Paul's wheels off when
Never
he came to
said
New
that.
York
No, I
State.
was talking about Dan.
You said you were going to show him New York style. Don't get soft now, Decker. Come on,
I'm
man
dumb,
up.
that's stupid.
Come on.
Always antagonizes.
Why?
I
It's
will knock you out.
He's always stirring the pot, buddy.
I know.
Remember when Paul used to like us?
he still likes us. It's Decker.
He's building you a
Eyes already
63 Ford. What are you going to build him?
Well,
S10.
Bronco.
Bronco.
2.
he knows what it is. 05 Ram. And he's kind of excited to try one of them out because
Uh-huh.
he says out there they aren't.
They're a dime a dozen out there.
Are they, Paul? I thought you said you couldn't find them out there.
You can't find new trucks because everybody's still driving them?
No, everybody's still driving that stuff. It's worth lots of money out here.
That's big old bag of sugar.
Yeah. I'm anxious to get in one. I want to see if they're as tough as what I'm seeing. I'm pretty excited to drive one.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, Dan's that he ran. I only seen him in person run it at Livonia last year, and not Caledonia. I mean, he was definitely running it hard. I mean, it was definitely very stout in the nose. He was. Well, I seen Jeremy hit him wide open in the ass, and Jeremy kind of stopped, and it didn't do much to the back of his
did.
truck.
Oh, I bet my both
Yeah.
both sides of my rails.
You gotta apply though too. He's pretty excited to run one out here to see what they're like because you take one of those frames
Put it under
Yeah.
a 65 body.
with their build build rules.
Yes.
With
Nasty.
Their build rules. Holy
Nasty,
hell.
nasty.
It's like a straight frame.
Yes.
You know, a hydroform straight
better
frame.
than ours, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Dan, you can ship them out there like crazy. You don't even have to worry about selling them anymore. You got to market.
I'm nervous to build somebody something before. I've never done it before, and Paul will tell you the same thing. He's like,
I hope you got a rear end to put underneath it. You're going to break an axle, Paul. Guarantee it. Guarantee
Paul
it.
running corporate 14, right, buddy?
That's right.
Yeah.
I broke 2 of them last year, so we'll see. I got to do some serious work on the rear end this year.
On the plus side, I mean, Dan, seriously, Josh can tell you, there's absolutely no pressure that comes when building somebody else a car.
No.
Oh
I
boy!
just want him to have a good run. And
If you were smart, you'd hire somebody to build it.
That was
Yeah.
Josh's
I don't hire
intention.
anybody to do anything for me, man.
Well, then when he's out in the first shot, you're gonna feel like a real asshole.
You got the same thing Common Decker does. He doesn't hire anybody either. They all work for free. It all works out the
I
same.
do all my
Wow.
I'm not as higher echelon as he is.
You're right.
know.
You're not-
You spend more time cleaning the shop than you do
Yeah.
building cars.
Decker's
Good
up
point.
here, we're still down here. That's
a good point.
You know.
We being Dan Bolton specifically, I don't think Paul wants to be put down there.
No, we're talking New York. Just New York.
So Dan, you going out early to Mania to
You should fly out with Ben and I.
Probably not. With my job, I don't get paid for days off, so I'm thinking I'll leave on a Thursday. Probably get out there.
that's what
Thursday
day we're
night.
leaving, Thursday?
Yeah. I think
Oh, all right.
I would
So
assume
maybe
you're
that is early. But we're pumped, man. I can't wait to go out there and be on a truck on that track in Utah, man.
It's
Been-
unbelievably
Oh,
awesome.
insane, dude.
It's awesome out there, man. Until you see it and feel it and
Some
smell
pretty
it.
good teams signing up so far. It's going to be a pretty good truck show.
How many teams are signed up at this point?
I'm not 100% sure on how many, but I know there's at least 2 more teams from down in the southern end of the state coming, so
Yeah.
we're going to have our
Well-
hands full.
What format are they running? Heads up or all on one track?
All at one time.
All on one track.
Right.
So I think he wants either 12 or 14 trucks in there at one time. So
Yeah, so I mean, five or six teams, it's full.
Yeah, but the tracks out there are twice what ours are. So
Dan,
yeah,
you are going to be
Christ.
sweating, dude. Dan,
Listen, you just got giddy. What that was that?
you are going to be shitting bricks, dude. I'm telling you.
Dude, you different looking
I am
down the
gonna
track
live
in
stream
Morris
it.
and just sending it.
No,
from one end to
way
the other.
different.
Well, I
No,
know the tracks
it's
are way
not.
bigger, but
Dan,
you got to drive hard. I mean,
Dan, you're not.
drive hard.
It's the Roman Coliseum compared to
It
what
is
you're used
the
to. It's
Roman
not.
I
Coliseum.
know that. I know what you're saying, but I mean, when you drive hard, you drive hard. You
Right.
can't take that away from somebody. And I
Yeah.
drive hard, so
Yeah.
I don't go in there scared.
I'm not taking
no,
it.
no.
Taking nothing.
I go in there like, oh, this is
no,
a
you're
real
going to come out scared.
You know, the difference is going to be that you're not used to is you're going to get a lot more ground speed than you're used to.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Probably, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you say the pace itself is slower out there than it is
No.
out here, or just same
No,
pace,
it's
just
same-
bigger ground?
Same pace, just
Same
bigger
pace
arena.
and
Just
faster
bigger
speeds, I
road.
think.
Yeah.
I think they get up to faster speeds.
Yeah.
Because if you watch, they'll do some donuts, they'll do some laps, and then come in for a kill shot.
Right.
Where we're just like back, forth, back, forth.
It's like they build momentum.
They do.
And then they pick someone. If somebody gets in a corner, 10 guys pile into him wide open. It's crazy.
I mean, even to compare Blizzard Bash, which is really aggressive and they get up a lot of ground speed, they don't circle and wait like
They don't have the room.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
Blizzard
true, too.
Bash ain't that big of a track.
Right.
It looks bigger than it actually is.
It's a hockey arena with
Yeah.
6 feet of berm pushed in all 4 directions. This place is just it's so big and so fast.
And the people are
and taking
over
nothing
you.
away from the rolling starts that you've done here earlier. It's nothing like it. I mean, you drive through track in, and then you have to drive under where people are sitting, and it goes like a little bit of shade, and then the lights come on when you're into the arena. You're gonna go in excited and come out unconscious.
Yes,
He
absolutely.
told me not to sit. He said, just don't ever get in the center. Just sit there. Just keep moving because usually after the first few minutes, things will iron themselves out. Just like any result. If you watch, I've been studying a lot of their driving out there. That's what they do. They circle around.
Yep.
They make a kill shot, but they always make sure they can drive through.
The better drivers do that. Yes.
Yeah, but you can't see around corners because you got tunnel vision.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dan will be right up on the
my eyes
wall.
will, like when I turn that corner of that track and I look down there, like all the way down, and I see somebody sitting there. That's when I get the zone right there.
But you need to make sure it's not Paul.
It probably will be.
You got my word, buddy. I'm not going to hit you.
I've heard that for 15 years now. Full of shit. Just telling you right now. Don't be mad at him.
Over under. Let's set it at 4 right now. Over under. Anybody want to get in? More than 4, under 4?
Oh yeah,
Every
definitely.
time that Dan's gonna hit Paul.
Over.
Oh, absolutely.
Over. Everybody's going over
all day.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be. I can't wait to go out there. They seem like really nice people out there.
Oh, it is.
They're very nice people out there.
I can't wait for Paul to come out here to New York, man. It's no different than it is for him, for me going out there. So.
Oh yeah.
Paul, you really are looking forward to coming out here?
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Trying to learn how to drive out there is going to be way different. I mean, you circle and you'll get pinned out there.
Right.
Yes, you will. You'll get pinned in.
I don't know. I mean, when I went to Blizzard Bash, everybody just tried to break your steering, and then they didn't even want to hit you anymore. So I don't know if it's going to be like that or
No.
what it's going to be like exactly.
Ben, what's the word that you?
No, we're just going to try to drive you out of your seat. Completely.
What's the word? Ladleheads?
Yeah.
Steering wheel holders?
Yeah, ladle heads. We got a lot of ladle heads out here that it don't matter. You could have 2 wheels broke off, and as long as your stick's still up, you're like game. So
I think for Paul, it'll be
Good.
different.
I never break my stick off, so they can hit me all they want.
yeah,
No, definitely not. But I think he's used to the pace.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's used. Here, he'll get hit more times, like in a 1 minute time period.
Yeah.
You're going to be getting hit way more times in a 1 minute than you're used to.
Yeah.
right.
Like the bigger the track, like Caledonia, was nice because it was so big. You can pick your shots.
Yeah.
And you can get away from people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you're
like
gonna have
that
to
bigger track.
find him a
But you
bigger track to get on.
That's
to.
what I'm thinking.
But you take Caledonia's track and multiply it by like
4.
5.
Yeah.
It's that much bigger.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell when you look at it.
Caledonia was so
how
much
much
fun
bigger
too
is
because
the
it
place-
was that big of a track. And
Yeah, oh, yeah, it
it
was
was
awesome.
a lot of fun. With we had 10 trucks. 8
It was
trucks?
great.
Yeah.
It was
How
great.
much bigger is the arena that you guys for May Madium than it is the first one you went to?
Oh, you're saying KOD, the Lazenby show?
Yeah.
Almost identical size
Yeah,
wise.
Oh, so it's about the same size?
Pretty
Okay.
even, yeah.
So Mania is like one of the bigger tracks in Utah.
In
I don't
Ogden,
know.
yeah. No? You don't think so? I thought it was pretty good size.
Supposed to be
Oh,
bigger.
Oh,
Yeah, Heber's
yeah.
supposed to be the
Probably
monster.
Spanish Fork and Nephi are the 2 biggest tracks in Utah.
Yeah.
They're
That's
giants.
when we were
That's
going to
what
go
to
watch.
last year and
Yeah.
watch. I was always wondering how to pronounce it.
I tell you what, once and the thing is, I mean, we're used to tracks out here, and once like we were just amazed when we went out there. It's like, holy shit, look how big this place is, and you'll be driving on it. It's going to be like that'll be chance of a lifetime, and
But something about the crowd over you. I tell
Yeah.
Gulley this all the time. When I win the lottery, I'm building a mix between Utah's arenas and Arkansas's. You know, the two of the overhead. But when the people are over you, man, guys are up against the walls, and they're like pointing down. And dude, they're like 2 feet from you. You know, you're up against the wall, and these people are like, you can feel the energy in the room. I love
That's
that
true
arena.
because that front row of seats is only a
hay bale away.
A 3-foot walkway and a 5-foot wide hay bale from the edge of the track.
The venue out there is altogether different.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome.
They got big jumbo screens. I mean, it's just a good time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And fireworks after.
They get you pumped up. I mean,
Oh,
they
yeah,
really
there's
do
no
get
doubt.
you amped up and the crowd's just there.
And that's-
We got to move out there, guys. We're in the wrong state.
I've been talking about it more and more. I like it out there.
We and that was the thing when we went out. I was running the camera when we first started, and that was the thing as we were sitting like down. You know, we could kind of look off and see the stands, but we were, we had stuff behind us and there was a building. But then the main camera we had set up was in the back of a truck, so I came out and around, and then I could see. And I mean, there was, I don't know, probably 8,000 people there. I mean, it was completely encircled. People, the one bleachers was enormous. That had to hold probably 3,000 or 4,000 alone, 40, maybe 5.
Oh my God, yeah.
But then I mean, there was people probably 6 deep all the way around the track. And it was just, and that's the thing is when they were doing the national anthem, I just scanned the crowd because it was so big. I'd never seen, other than Blizzard Bash probably would be the only thing that I would compare it to.
Numbers wise, yeah. Number wise.
The main Mania track, there in
Golden Spike.
Golden Spike, it's like Coliseum. I mean, it's all the way around, and you're down here, and everybody else is around. And
Paul has to drive quite a ways to the shows because he lives in, I think, in southern Utah. And he said, I think is it a 3-hour drive out there for us?
It's going to be more like 4.5 or 5 hour drive.
wow,
Yeah, it ain't like it's in his backyard. It's like
The closest derby I have to me is an hour and a half. Everything else is 3 hours.
Wow.
right?
He's putting on some mileage.
Yeah, but when you win that much, it's fine.
Yeah, you had an awesome year last year, man.
It was a pretty good year, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't expect to do the same this year. I'll probably get my butt kicked in every show, but
Probably not.
give it a try.
Not even listening to that.
Have you guys seen his garage? Have you seen his garage?
I've seen some videos of them working in there.
I've watched
He's
some
gonna
of the
laugh when he
live
comes to
feeds.
my house. He sees how I do things.
Yeah, because you're going to have to sweep every 10 minutes.
No, that 28 by 36 garage, man, everything's underneath, crawling. He's got lifts, tractors, the whole 9 yards.
So it's like Decker's house then.
Dan's garage looks more like a kitchen.
Yeah.
Dan just got a 220 welder this year for the first time in 20 years.
Just,
Have you even used it yet, Dan?
No,
Sits right in
house.
probably mother. What's that?
He
Mother's
waxed it.
polish.
Mother's
Yeah.
wax on it.
Now,
Wax on, wax off.
What happens when the Weldon? When
He's
the Weldon,
waxed it 3 times.
When
hasn't
the
taken-
Weldon sparks hit your new welder and start burning the paint.
Oh, no, he covers everything. He covers
I don't know if I can
everything.
handle that.
Put a cover on
But,
it.
Paul, I don't think I told Paul this, but I'm gonna paint his truck up just like his color. It's gonna look just like Easy does it.
Nice.
It's gonna look awesome. My buddy's gonna do the vinyl on it, and then he's gonna run it, and then I'll have to run it the rest of the year. How Easy does it all over the place.
That's what happens when you break 3 or 4 axles a year, Dan.
We'll come back to that.
spit a drive shaft, whatever.
You know what? I asked you last year, right before Caledonia. What was our discussion?
I know. I've never broke it into 60. How many have I run?
I don't know
0.
how many have you run.
0.
4, 5.
It was a trick question.
Gully,
0.
Gully, can you promise me I'm not going to break an axle of these trucks? It's my first truck, big truck running a long time. He's like, you won't have a problem, Dano. Those things are bulletproof. Go right out there. Decker rips the axle right out from underneath it.
Oh,
I've
he
run.
gave it to me.
Well,
I've run
he hit
15.
you at 40.
That wasn't a Dana 60 that he ran
No, that
first
was
time. It was a
stock
stock rear.
Yeah.
I've run 15 trucks probably with a Dodge rears and never broke one.
I know what I'm doing wrong. When I see somebody come and I stand on it, try to
You
get
never
out,
do that.
I got to just let
Hold the
off,
brake.
sit there.
Just hold the
No,
brake,
you
let
hold
him
the
hit
brake.
you, and
You hold the brake.
Yep.
move on.
That was a heck of a shot.
Yeah, but that was he got you twice.
With a Dakota.
Impressive shots.
All these,
Such a great shot. It was such a good shot.
he's so happy.
It was one of my
No,
proudest
Chris.
shots.
Chris, he's always busting me about targeting him and hitting him, but guess what? He
No,
takes
I'm a
the
finisher.
shot.
Yeah,
He's
closer.
He's a head collector, man. You got to remember
Damn
that.
right. I can taste
He had to
the
hit you
gin.
in the wheel because he hit you square in the ass and about knocked his teeth out through the
Oh
front
my
of the
god, my
windshield.
face hit the
hard.
steering wheel.
The best part of that,
That
whole
truck
derby
was
is
hard.
when he goes around, he does like 3 hot laps after he wins,
Yep.
and him and Tommy Dowd over there doing
Hey.
whatever they're doing out.
OGing it up.
Yeah, they were.
Tommy told me I was going to beat you.
Josh? What's it going to be like? I mean, you've won Mad Dogs in Pennsylvania and in Florida and in Minnesota and Kentucky, and now Paul Cox from Utah is going to be out here. Conceivably, you're going to have to fight him for a Mad Dog award, and likely you're
I
going to
like
lose.
the sound of that. I like the sound of that. I don't know. That'll be fun. That'll be a day to That'll be a day to remember.
Yeah,
If I can
Well,
duke
you
it out with
probably
him.
won't.
Your
but,
mind's going to be erased.
We'll have
I won't
video
remember.
of it. Don't worry about it.
I'm cool with that.
Well, how cool is it we're Derby is now. We're teaming up with guys from Utah.
That's cool as shit.
That's what the man right there has created.
I agree.
Possibility we'll be on the track with a Utah. We could conceivably be on the track with a Utah legend. Really,
very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. The Derby world has come a long, long ways in 10 years.
It's got a lot smaller. That's for sure.
Yes, sir.
Well, I think guys are seeing that it's fun. You don't always have to run the car that you build. Maybe it is fun to give it away and let. I mean, I've given away a couple cars, and I have just as much fun watching somebody jump in it and enjoy it. And Dan, you're gonna love when he comes out. It is nerve-wracking. It is nerve-wracking.
Dan, I'm not even joking. Josh was dry heaving on the air. They kept having to mute his mic when we were in Ohio on the Derby Tees feed.
I know. I let everyone down.
When
that
Ben
day.
and Vando were out there in his cars, and he was
that day, I know. That was bad.
So much can go wrong when you have no control over it, and you don't want to be that guy that builds the one-hit wonder, but
no,
But Josh volunteered for the job.
But then you see that the country is only a plane ticket away.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, maybe Paul's got to fly 4 hours instead of 3 hours or whatever. But we're only all a flight away, and you can make new friends. And we've met so many cool new friends doing this.
Josh is. I mean, think about it. Paul is looking at about the same amount of time just in the air, not counting like layovers and order exchanges and TSA and stuff like that. The same amount of time in the air to get here is to tow from his house to Ogden.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So why not just come out here?
Pretty much.
Well, you said it right, Josh. That's what's so cool. Like how you can have so much in common with somebody that's on the other end of the country.
Sure.
And
Sure.
You've met him. You know me.
Separated at birth.
The first time I seen him, I go, "This is Dan Bolton's twin." Remember? I was saying that Blizzard Bash. This guy looks just like Dan Bolton, and he's just as nice as him.
His builds, our builds are similar, clean. And you can just tell. And we drive hard, and it's gonna be fun.
Who's more meticulous, Paul? Are you more of an I daughter and T cross, or is Dan?
I don't know. I don't sweep my shop that much, I don't think. But
Dude, I don't sweep my shop here. These guys are busting my
No,
balls.
just four times a day.
He
buffs it.
Yeah, Dan is telling the truth. He's got a vacuum out there.
I definitely make sure my stuff's 100% before I take it anywhere. I mean, I don't want to go there and have something stupid break on it. So
Absolutely.
I definitely check it and drive it around hard before I ever go anywhere.
That's why you're having all the excess out there. Did you win 10 shows last year?
Not 10. I think I won 6, and I got second in 1.
Not 10. It wasn't that low.
First time I've ever bought a spool for a rear end, and it failed. So that cost me a first place win.
He swears by them corporate 14s. He told me that's all he's been running for years.
What happened with the spool?
I usually just weld them up myself, and for some reason I decided to spend some money on one, and the stupid pins fell out of it, and I lost.
You see how hard he drives?
Oh, yeah.
Them 14s, they're tough. I mean, he just...
That's what I got in a Suburban now is a 14. First one, corporate 14, 588s, I think.
Yeah,
What gear you run on yours, Paul?
I got 513s in mine.
I haven't tracked that size.
And he wheel stands them.
That'll get her done.
He's just every
That's
time
awesome.
out, man. He had a great season last year.
That's surprising, though, with a gear that low with a track that big. You'd think you'd run 410s
I'm
or
in
something.
second gear a lot.
Yeah.
My motor
Hit
shifts
second gear.
into second somewhere around 68, 7,000, and it'll hold pretty good at that.
Dude, I'll never drive anything that good again. You know that?
That's awesome.
Power.
Enjoy it.
That's
You're right.
awesome.
Hitting second gear sounds like fun.
Yeah, that's always been my dream to shift.
Let's take an over and under. Will Dan, when he gets to that speed, that cruising speed, lift? We're going to be watching you. And right before you go out, Dan, I'm going to say, Dan promises he is not going to lift.
I'm not going to let anybody down, man. I'm going to show him how New York does it.
Should we give him a depends, though?
Yeah.
No. When he shits his pants.
No.
Full.
No,
Fully.
we will stop at Walmart and we'll get him a tube.
Oh, man.
See what I got to deal with, Paul?
Chad Rose would be
Man,
proud.
you're taking it hard out there. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
You don't have enough time to think about it. All you're going to do is hang on and hold it to the floor, and
Yep.
there ain't nothing else you can do.
No. Getting old, though, buddy. Be 41 this February, man. I can't take those shots like I used to.
Just hand them out. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
It's always better to give than
Yeah.
receive.
As long as you're on the offense, everyone's going to run from you. You just got to hit someone really hard right off the bat, and then everyone's going to run.
It'll probably be you.
Dude, trust me.
Don't say it.
I think I know who you are out there.
If you see a truck that reminds you a lot of yours, don't hit it.
So rude.
Well, I guarantee there's a couple of trucks coming that they're not going to let off when they hit us. They want to win every bit as bad as we do. So,
So what do we got to pay you to put a bullseye on Dan's
one of my
door?
good friends, Junkie, he'd love nothing more than to tip me on my lid and then drive circles around me.
That's Matt, right?
Yeah, Matt. He would enjoy that a whole lot.
That's awesome.
That sounds like you guys are like us back here, a bunch of good, friends running together, and you can run wide open and have fun and not have to worry about anybody having hard feelings afterwards.
Dano's not going to remember
Matt's
anything that
coming
happened
to my
before
house
first day,
numerous
fourth
times
grade.
to make sure I made it to a show just so he can hit me really good when I get there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
That sounds like my kind of guy.
Yeah, man.
Everybody's bucket list out there is to put people on their lids. I mean, that's like the highlight. If you just go out there and blast somebody, put them on their lid, I mean, a lot of them are just happy.
honestly, I would rather roll my friend upside down because it doesn't hurt his truck. He's not going to have to work on it as much to get to the next show.
There you go.
So
Trying to help him out.
If I tip him over.
I don't know about
Trying
that.
to save him some work.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I don't know about
Pass
that.
on that, Paul.
Just got to straighten your stacks out a little bit. You're all right.
See, now you know why we get along so good, Josh.
That's funny.
We saw the end of that streak with Stern Dirt out there.
Yeah.
We went out there, and this was the first time they had a truck event that didn't have a rollover.
Didn't have a
We were
rollover.
out there
I seen
in May.
When they had the farm truck thing class.
When Dan gets rolled over, though, I promise everybody on air I will run right out there, and I will stick that mic right in your face while you're upside down and say, how do you feel right now?
Is this the first ever two-man team truck show they've had? It is, right? The first one?
As far as I know.
As far as I know, I think it is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Dan's not getting rolled over. I've been rolled over once in my truck, and I changed everything so that don't ever happen again.
After that event's over, regardless of who wins.
Getting rolled over sucks. You got a perfectly good truck, and they won't let you run anymore.
Right.
Oh, is that true?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, once you roll, you're done.
Oh, I didn't know
Oh,
that.
they don't flip you back over like here and give you the...
No.
Oh, wow.
Attaboy, keep
Give it
going.
a chance.
Paul, you got to nose right up to Dano after the event's over and flip him over just for good measure.
We're gonna hit each other. Just because we're on a team doesn't not mean we're not gonna hit each other.
Yeah, that's true. I'm glad
Yeah, hurt
you've
each
accepted
other.
that.
You know what Paul was telling me, too? Like, I told back here, we got passengers. And he's like, wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That's totally different for him.
Well, yeah, till you go out there, then you're going to realize why there ain't no passengers out there.
Oh, out there, no
Well, he
way.
said coming
Spectators
here,
aren't that
he's
excited
gonna
about
have
bleeding kidneys.
No.
Well, he's going to have to tell himself that there's a possibility of a passenger in that truck out
But
there.
here
That's
the-
different when you're used to just...
Well, it depends on what show you run, too.
Right.
True. And the track will be a little bit tighter here, so he'll be able to see the passenger. Like out there, man, you're doing 40 for like 3 minutes before you hit somebody. You know, that's a
Football
long
fields
ways.
away.
I just want to make sure I build this in. I don't care if I even build myself something this summer. I want to make sure his ride is tight.
100%.
I mean,
So he can have a good run.
I
Yes.
think you could literally you start from one end, and I think you could literally get between 8 to 10 Mississippi wide open until you get to the other end.
It's a
How
long
fast do you think
ways.
you guys get speed-wise out there, Paul?
He's getting nervous.
40.
What's that?
How fast do you guys get going out there, you think?
I think 35 or 40 is as fast as you'll ever get going.
Yeah.
That's fast.
That's
But
really
that sand
fast.
is
See,
really deep
you can
out
tell when you're going too fast to hit somebody. I've backed out of it a whole bunch of times because you know it's going to hurt you just as much as it hurts them.
Right. Right.
No, but Dan's not going to do that.
The first couple times, Dan won't do that.
No.
He's going to have to learn the hard way.
He's
He'll
got
lose his front teeth.
He's got a learning curve, Paul. He's got a learning curve.
I have learned to kind of swerve out of the head-ons. Boy, those babies hurt.
Ooh.
Especially when the
He'll
trucks don't
figure it
bend.
out when he's digging his goggles out of his eyeballs because
Yep.
they hit
There
the
you go.
steering wheel and shove them
Yep.
up in his
Better get
helmet.
yourself a teeth guard.
Didn't you blow your goggles right off your helmet last year? I think I saw in the video.
Oh yeah, I've knocked them off numerous times. It cracks the lenses in them, and
Get a mouth guard.
Violent. Better break out the old shin
the
guard.
door shots hurt way worse than the head-on shots. When you're not paying attention and someone hits you in the door,
Inside.
you kiss your battery box and everything else. It hurts.
Who'd we see get May Mania? The two guys.
Derek Shelley. Are you talking about Derek Shelley?
Derek-
When Clint
Clint and Shelley hit. hit him against the barrier, against the wall. I mean, it wasn't even a full track shot. Hit him so hard it blew his cage right out the side of his car, and broke his ribs. And then Shelley flipped himself and knocked himself out.
Mm-hmm. And on a half-track shot.
On a half-track shot.
And I'm telling you, it was
in a car.
I'll definitely be, like you say, pie plates. I'll never forget that comment you said. My eyes will be like pie plates.
Oh, yeah.
When I pull out there.
I'm so happy for you because it's going to be an experience you're never going to forget.
You only live once, man.
And same thing with Paul. I mean, Paul getting an opportunity to come out here. I mean, it'll be just to experience a different area in a different way of derby, especially so far away.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, Paul, don't get nervous if you see Dan starting to post pictures of your truck for sale before you get to drive it. That's kind of
normal.
It's typical.
It always comes up with that. That's awesome.
It's typical. It's typical. You'll still have something. It might be Yugo. It's fine. I wouldn't worry.
For sale or trade for sap parts.
What I got to deal with Paul.
That's crazy. That's funny.
Well, you know what though? To me, it's just I kind of look up to those guys out there. I don't know about the rest of you guys. I mean, to me, that is.
I've been watching them forever.
We've been watching videos from way back in the day from out there, and you see the mountains in the background, and you just see those huge tracks. And I mean, to be able to go run out there, I'm grateful that he asked me.
You're damn right, dude.
Yeah.
There's people that kill for your opportunity, man.
You know, and it's going to happen. It's going to be here before you know it, man.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, now there's no off season in Derby, and that gets here quick.
It's basically 6 months away from right now.
You're flying to his house.
I'm going to fly into Utah, and I think they're going to pick me up, and I'm going to stay with them.
Yeah,
right, Paul?
I think you're using a different airport than
Yep.
they're using if he's.
Yeah,
5
you're
hours
flying
away.
to St. George,
Yeah.
and we'll pick you up, and drive up. You got to have some time in the truck to know how it drives before you get in the arena.
No,
you just jump in right after inspection and go.
Don't even let him drive it to inspection.
This thing for, man. This is the
Nah,
first,
Dan,
first
trust
one.
me. You don't want to get in there. Trust me, because when you start getting in cars that people build you, okay, you'll start looking around. And then you start saying, wow, can we move that? Can we move that? I don't like how I feel in here. Can we move that?
Well,
Just get in it, put that seatbelt on, put that helmet on, good night.
Well, Paul asked me how tall I was. I said I'm 6 foot. He's like, well, that'll work perfect. He's 6'2", so we're as far as putting cage bars and stuff like that. So set up like
That's always good when you're like that, when that works out like that.
Yeah, Ben ran into a little bit of a problem with him and Todd Siopa.
Ben didn't have that problem.
Ben was on
pillows.
Ben was laying right out like this. Like this, just reaching. He kept going like this. And he's like, am I hitting the gas? And I'm like, nah. You're like 2 foot.
So he switched. So he switched last minute, and that one was about 4 or 5 inches closer, and I was still stretched out, but I still drove it to third.
It was so funny because Todd waves me over, and I go over to Todd's open, and he is literally the steering wheel's like this. He's like, tell Ben I want to switch. I don't like this car. I'm like, all right, I think Ben will like this one.
Oh, I was smiling ear to ear. I'm like, yep, I'll do it. Let's do it.
That wasn't the night you had to pull your pants up the whole drive, though, right?
No,
that was the first one.
That was the first one.
You got to be comfortable in them things, man. You know, there's no doubt if you want to drive.
Well, I was in a pro class car, and I tell you what, it's nothing like getting blistered from the side when basically you got this much space. And it was a good time.
That's
it was
right, I
fun.
forgot you guys. And you ran one of Siopa's wagons.
Yeah, see, and I was not comfortable. I was totally uncomfortable.
He ran an 03 the first time.
Yeah.
And I ran a wagon, and then I ran a wagon the second time, and he ran a wagon.
That must have been awesome, wasn't it?
Oh my god!
Look at him.
Luckiest son of a bitch ever.
Fat kid in the candy store right there.
Oh my god!
Don't get no ride.
But I'm telling you, you don't want to.
I don't know.
Just
I don't
hop
see
in
the
them and
deals.
go. I do so much better when I just hop in, put my helmet on, and go.
Gully gave me a ride last year. That was one of the most fun rides I've ever had in my
You
life.
said that thing. Too.
He said, "Don't worry about anything." And I said, "Okay."
Well, I
And
had
he
to go
said,
under-
"Drive hard in the feature," and I did.
Yes,
I had
you
to
did.
go under my alias. I was Ben Decker down there.
That's so awesome. That was awesome. We started a whole shitstorm. It was bad.
Yeah, rumor has it they're going to check IDs before they go on the track this year.
Well, they're
I don't want to start rumors, but I just heard that.
pro
from the
class is
grapevine.
only one night too.
Yeah, I see that.
Hey, Paul, when you going to start working on them trucks, buddy? After Christmas?
Yeah, I got my dad's truck I've been building right now, and as soon as I get that out of the shop, I'll probably pull the old one in and cut it apart, start piecing the other one together.
Cool.
you're laid off for the winter. You think you'd fly out there for a week and give him a hand?
That is an idea, Brian.
I mean, come on. What are you going to do? Deer season's over. The sap isn't running until February.
That is a good idea.
Yeah, that is
Why won't you fly out there?
Because Dan's not motivated enough to build his own goddamn trucks in the wintertime, so he ain't flying out to Utah.
He'd have to sell his truck to get the ticket to go out.
We got a problem, Paul. I sold your truck so I can fly out.
Listen, but I mean, you could learn, from Paul a lot of tips, and then you could teach him how to have the most spotless derby shop in Utah.
Clean his
it's
garage.
Clean his garage.
Clean his garage.
That is actually an idea.
Paul, how's your vacuum work?
We'll sweep for room and board.
I'm glad I can help out when I can.
Paul.
I mean,
wait
you're
till
going to
you
learn.
meet these boneheads. Have you guys met him before?
Yeah,
I met him at Blizzard Bash.
He
Yep.
was at Blizzard Bash. He was on show with us.
The cool kids go to Blizzard Bash.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
He
That's
can't
where
get time off. He's running the big excavator, making
For the who's who
making
is at
$42
Blizzard
an hour. He can't take that off.
He ain't gonna be working in March.
Yeah, you ain't working
I
in
went
March.
hunting last year. I
Capital
went on
C.
that hunting trip, but this year's tough because I'm going out to Utah. Paul's coming here, so I'll take some time off for that. I told you it would be the following 2018. I'll go.
You know what I heard? You know what I heard in everything that Dan
Blizzard
just
Bash.
said? Car for sale, car for sale, car for sale.
What do I have that I can sell it?
Does anybody in
got
the
that
market for a
Imperial,
new
you already
welder?
sell that.
I hear Dan's got one.
Hard to believe.
Dan's got a new welder for sale. It's got 3 fresh coats of wax on it. Never been turned on.
Yeah.
You know, I sold that E2 slider I wanted to.
What?
Guys, makes us go buy Imperials. We can run Imperials together, right? Somewhere? Dan sells his.
You're an ass.
That thing needed a lot of work.
You did a lot
What
of work.
don't?
Just so you know, Paul, Dan's a bad friend.
I'm a bad friend, but I'm going to drive down to Jersey. Well, Wednesday I'm going to Jersey. 5.5, 6 hours one way to pick up a Y framer to put an Imperial sub.
Crazy.
I got from you, so we can run Imperials.
Okay.
So there. That ends that.
That car will be sold before it sees the New York border.
Absolutely. It's probably sold already.
It's a 6 window too, Ben.
It's pretty clean, too. Yeah.
Josh will have that
I
at his
watched
house
you
soon.
way back in the day.
That orange one.
It was Cuba then. The
orange one.
Man, that thing was hard.
Oh,
You
yeah.
were laying shots all. I don't know what you had in that motor gear combo, but that thing was awesome.
Ben built it, though. That ain't a
the old
Dan Bolton build.
He had the old turnout.
Yeah.
Oregon pipes.
Yeah.
Are we talking about a Cuba?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I was there.
That was my
day.
West Virginia car.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
holy
I remember
shit.
New Year's
that.
Eve.
Wait, was that?
Hey, Ben, do you still have them Oregon turnouts or no?
Jeremy Doyle had him.
What motor did you have in that?
360.
Nice.
Small block.
Wait, what was that? Was that
Was
a
when
Y
they-
frame or was that a Ford?
That's when Bull Lockwood.
No, that was
They
the
made
Galaxy.
Bull Lockwood have his
It was a
cars
Galaxy,
three
right?
No, the Galaxy ran down Hartford.
No, he had a Galaxy at
times. I ran a
Cuba.
Galaxy at Cuba too.
Yeah, that's what, when you said orange, that was one I was thinking of.
That one- that was black and
this
red.
year, bud?
Ben has 7 shows on his list.
I can see him over there. The old wheels turning, man.
Well, I'm running one in March.
You running one in March? I'm going to stick an 03 in your garage because we're going to win a cradle at New Year's. So
Yeah.
you and I
Is
will
that
have
for
a-
him or you to drive?
Well, we're
Or
going
you just
to
gonna
mix
take
it
turns
and
throughout
match
the
it.
year?
Dan,
It'll
did you
last
ever
you.
run?
I'll build
We
it,
got some
we'll
questions
run it all
coming in.
year.
Dan, did you ever run at Walton?
Never ran to Walton. No, they just opened it up to out of county here a couple of years ago.
Now they closed
And it
it.
says
They-
underneath that if he says no, ask him if he's. I got to read this close. When he's going to become a man.
Jeez, that's getting deep tonight. Who was that? Who said that?
Jake Sherman.
Oh, gee. Yeah. Well, I'll
Is that
tell you
is
what
that
the
as
deal
Jeremy
was.
Trump or
You know, it's too bad if
Jeremy
we could
Sherman,
if we
Jeremy
could
Becker?
live stream
If you
Walton.
live stream Walton,
Oh,
we'd be there in a heartbeat.
yeah, it'll never happen.
And I'll tell you why I didn't run Walton last year because of the bumper rule. Simple as that.
I thought it was fear.
I'm going up to Walton. I want my homemade bumper on, buddy. Hair things over. Right, Gully?
I tried to run Walton. I got loaded.
Yeah.
No.
I actually.
Gully got
We got a
trapped by
comment
me.
on.
I
Comment
did
on
too.
tech. Tech's a good time when you see the truck pulling in, and the same time they do that, they start asking questions. What's underneath the spray foam? And they start looking like deer in the headlights.
Spray foam's a magical thing.
Walton is the track, boy. That is the
Yeah,
track.
but the Mania, there's no foam.
Oh, is that a rule?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. They already jumped that curve, huh? They already learned that lesson. Okay.
We're just getting to the foam thing already. Got it.
I don't know. I know some old school cheaters been using foam for a lot of years in the
How
area.
long is Walton track? Do you know, Gully?
I got no idea.
It's like 300 feet, 330 feet, I think. Because Waterloo's,
It's still
Sorry,
smaller than Malone.
Whatchamacallit?
Buell.
I will
Josh
attest to
Buell.
that. Those guys, you
Buell.
know what I'm talking about. That was the best heat I ever seen down
Yep.
there, I think. Beersy and them guys out there.
Yeah, Logan Gregory.
Logan.
That MP
Yes.
with Jared and
Jared,
Logan and
Yeah.
Those guys, man, they're best.
Jared in
friends
his
in
2011 Ford.
They are fearless.
that track. You ran that track before, right?
Yes, I pulled out on it and shut the car off. And yeah, let's not talk about that. I got booed so bad that day.
It was better than getting put on the blocks, though, right?
Yep. Hey, rightfully so. I deserved it.
Was that the first time you ever ran it with the truck?
Well, that's the first time I was ever made it through Tech at Walton. Yeah,
What did you think about that track? Was just four of you out there?
dude, I pulled on the track and got blasted.
And he
Blew her rear ender out my
He had a
rear.
tough,
Talking about
and he almost
axles.
didn't make it through Tech going there.
Yeah.
That's right. You lost that instantly. So you turned it around.
Yeah,
bro.
because you got
Well,
told to take it easy.
I
on
got
the
told to take it
minivan.
easy on the
I
minivans.
know.
2 guys showed up, built to the rules. 2 guys not built to the rules. Well, not built to the fullest potentials of the rules.
Right.
Got asked to take it easy, so I started whipping donuts like an idiot.
And
And-
that son of a bitch lined you up.
Oh, you did.
I broke it, but I was already broke when he hit me.
Right.
Yeah. But that was,
I broke the pinion. I broke the ring gear. I shattered both side gears. I dropped the center right out of it.
what do you
Both
think?
axles were
Do
fine.
you have your diver in that?
Yeah,
Oh, that's probably why.
but it shattered the rear end. I was sitting there dead.
Yeah, I know.
And then
Broke
he-
the universal.
then he Teed off on you.
Boy,
And then that minivan come down and tracked me. It didn't hurt me. It just knocked the axles out, but they were already broke. I mean, it wasn't nothing. Didn't do
that
nothing
was
to it.
strictly
But
tunnel vision right there because you'd been sitting there for at least.
I
a
was
couple-
dead for a minute at least
I
when
see
before
it
he hit
coming.
me.
I looked. I said, "Oh golly, buddy, hold on, buddy, it's coming."
And I wasn't pissed as much about the hit as I was about the fact that we were asked to take it easy, and then
Then they opened
and then
it.
I break, right off the line. I mean, it always sucks when you think you got the best thing there, and you think you can win a show or you got a chance to win a show, and then something stupid happens.
Yep.
And now I got the truck's fine. I won Brookfield with it. 2 months later, put a corporate 14 under it, but it's a braced corporate 14. So now I got to change the rear again to run that show or another show because I can't run the braced rear.
You know
Need
what-
to get on this unified rules kick so everybody
just what I
can.
was going to bring up. Well, we've been pushing that, on our messages and whatnot. You think that we can get, say yourself, Spinning Wheels. We can get Jay King.
The problem's going to be
God,
is going to be the same thing that happened to me. You're going to have guys build to the rules, and then guys don't build to the rules. I don't want to hit. I was scared, Dan. I've never been more scared pulling on that track in Walton than I was that day.
I know you.
Never in a derby. I didn't want to hit one of them kids and hurt somebody.
Right.
The one kid's seat was held in by 2 bolts.
Right.
The first time I hit him, it was not even a quarter of a track, and it broke his seat
No one was
right
concerned
out of the
when my
floor.
seat was held in with 2
Wow.
bolts. Anyway, Paul, I mean, you guys have unified rules out there for a lot of the full-size divisions. How's that been received? Is everybody pretty much playing by the rules?
Yeah, for the most part, but you're like anybody. People build, and then there's people that are lazy and don't build, but
What about from the tech
pretty
inspection?
much everyone's building the same.
What about from the implementation
The
side of
different
it?
breeds
With
of trucks that are tougher than others, of course, but it's made the Utah trucks what they are by going unified.
Right.
We had a whole bunch of different sets. We finally just got everybody together and like, look, it's going to make it easier for you guys inspecting these things if you only have to look at one set of rules to do it. And finally everybody got on board.
And it's got to increase
It helped a lot.
it's got to increase the truck count or the car count too, because guy can run from show to show to show. You don't have to, so much change a rear end, take a cradle off, take a DP off, change the front bumper just to run another show a week later.
But we have so many shows compared to what
Exactly. It helps a ton. You can go to every show in the state of Utah. And now I just heard that Wyoming's going to switch to theirs, the same rules we have, so we can run up there and run if we want to.
Nice.
The only downside I would personally see to unified rules is that even though the rules in theory are all the same, is that you aren't going to get the same inspection at every track.
Definitely.
implementation. I mean,
And
what
that's-
about
And that's the thing is like, Ben can look at something and say,
I'll let it run today.
yeah, I'll let it run. Well, another guy could look at that and say, oh, no, you have an unfair advantage. You got to cut.
Well, that's where if the unified rules, if they're
Time.
unified rules are there and everybody's put their input in on it, you're gonna have a variable no matter what, but the variable is not gonna be different all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
like I was
if
like,
you get together 5 different promoters get together and come up with one unified set of rules. If they're smart, they'd have the promoter and the tech group, tech guys and everything else, and then they go over all that. Okay, this is this, and this. Because you're only going to have so many variables that are,
like
allowed.
here's an example. I ran up to Brookfield, and then Jay was looking at my bumper because they're thinking about allowing a homemade bumper, and I had probably the only one that I think that was there, at least with a point on it or whatever. And he's looking at it over. He's like, "Well, we would do this different and that different." And see, and there you go.
You don't do anything different. It's that's where
now you're going to have to change that because now they want ends open so they can see if it's not stuffed. So now at the next show, I have to cut the ends off my homemade bumper. That's what I'm trying to get at. Why can't we just come up with?
You don't have to cut the end off of it. You cut a hole on it. There's such thing as a $300 inspection hole and a $300 bore scope. Mm-hmm. There you go. Or if
you really think guys
or a 99-cent flashlight and look into
guys
it.
in our area would stuff a bumper that's that. No, you know how heavy mine was. You guys can pick it up.
Absolutely.
You think they would fill that? I mean,
absolutely.
Tear their
would they?
Yes.
Yes.
Somebody will, and then they'll be sorry for it.
Right.
I mean, they're going to ruin themselves.
Yeah, because it's not.
That's the same concept as we ran through when I first started allowing to run full-size bumpers on compact cars. Mm-hmm. Guys weld New Yorker Brome bumpers on the front of Luminas. You can't add no added metal to it, but they welded the end of the rails.
Yeah, just ripping them right off.
Why don't you think
3 minutes in the heat, they're laying on the track.
How many promoters do you have out there in Utah, Paul?
There's probably 6 or 7 different promoters.
So that's not too
Everybody's
far off
running
from
the
our
same
area.
set
Then
of
I was
truck
thinking
rules.
it was.
The car rules are still all over the place.
Yeah, I was
Different at
thinking
every
it might have
show,
been
pretty
a
much.
couple promoters. It was easier to get them together. That's all.
Because I just don't understand.
We got like
Trucks
50.
are all the same, so I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
I quit running cars because everybody cheats too much. There's too much to cheat on a car. Trucks open C-channel frames. You can see everything that's done to a truck.
Not on the Dodges.
On your Dodges, that's why you want to see them so
That's
good.
why you got to definitely. Yeah, you'll be happy when you see this.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I just maybe because I just have a different theory and there's different thought concepts out here with the way builds are. I mean, it don't matter what vehicle it is. I mean, it's either a drill bit or a bore scope away from getting looked at.
Sure,
you know.
Sure.
So I mean, it's.
I like that. I should be writing the rules now. A drill bit. If it's something.
I got my own drill bits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and that's,
It is in my rules this year.
Well, let me
We're
ask you a
having
question.
so much.
It'll teach you a
Not
lot.
like up to par on like this new stuff that's coming out. I mean, how I mean, I don't even know it that well, and I built one. But how will you know if that's got something in it by drilling it? How would you know?
Easily.
It's easily you have an airspace, or you'll have a gap, or it'll
I don't know.
be
I've never
3/8
drilled
thick, and we all know that there ain't a frame around that's 3/8
right.
thick.
And,
I mean,
and, like I used to laugh because the older cars, you know, guys come in, and you look up in their frame rail, and it's as clean as a 2015 frame from front to back.
There's
It's
nothing
like
ever that clean.
you know, it's like, dude, no, really, you know, and it's just common sense.
What do you think it is, Josh? Why can't we get the 3 or 4 promoters in our area to let us just?
Because they all fight with one
3 or
another.
4.
What is it between them guys?
Because they all fight with one
ego.
another.
It's all ego.
I think it's the competition, though. I
Yeah.
think because you have guys, and I'm not trying to single anybody out, but you have guys like yourself, myself, and Eric and Josh that will build a truck to the caliper rules that we want to run.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have guys that just want to knock the windows out of them and go.
Mm-hmm.
The fun part about the trucks is there's no drama in them, and you can build one and run it almost all year long.
Yes.
That's what I love. That's
You know, the frames on them things, if you spend a
especially if you break axles all the time.
little bit of money and buy a good clean truck,
Yes.
you can run it all year.
Agreed.
You don't have to build 5, 6, 8 trucks, you know, or cars, you know. But there's also guys out there that still want to, knock the windows out of them and go.
so that's.
And unfortunately, though, the more you split the classes, the more money that you got to dwindle down. And as it is right now, Christ, we had 17 trucks in Brookfield, and it paid $500 to win.
Yeah, Paul, I forgot to tell you, though. It's going to be nasty out here, buddy. The money you see that we race for and the money that we spend, you're just going to shake your head, man, because, I mean, it's
It doesn't make sense.
Oh, it's
That's nuts. $500.
Yeah.
Got more in rear tires than that.
Yeah.
And that
We
was
know.
just this year. It used to be
We
$250 to win.
Yeah.
We'd have 20 trucks on the track, and
See,
it was
but
$250 to win.
you're not going to take them to a show like that.
Is there no crowd that shows up to pay for
No,
it?
there's a
Oh,
crowd.
no, there's a crowd.
No
There's a
comment.
crowd.
on
It's
that.
just
Yeah.
It's not like
The money goes somewhere else.
yeah. I mean, the crowds. The Utah crowds are by no means are we don't get crowds like that here.
No.
That extreme. But I mean, you do get venues that
3,000.
3,000,
3,000
3,500.
people,
absolutely.
which is very good. What it comes down to is the greed.
Yes.
What it comes down to.
Yes.
And to
Yes.
get people to come off their such say wallets to pay the money out is what is a driving force of a lot of drivers around here to ask for change and in a push for different things to get changed, because it's not rocket science. I mean, guys do the numbers in their heads, and it's like they're there putting on a show. They're there helping the promoter put a show on to put asses in the stands, but yet, the compensation is asinine.
But
It's not.
When we were out,
It's not a fair shake at all.
a lot of the county fairs though, when we were out in Utah, just talking to Johnny, when we were with Lazenby, all of them. The county fairs understand that Demolition Derby is the money maker for their county fairs.
Right.
They accept it. Okay, I need to help Derby drivers. They help me fill my stands. You come over to New York. Total opposite mentality. We don't give a shit about Demolition Derby guys. Whatever. It's a bunch of woodchucks wrecking cars. They'll fill the stands for free. We take the money and we'll go buy some stupid country singer to come in that no one watches.
We pay a lot of money.
Right.
The money that's made from Demolition Derby goes to pay
Our
other stuff. But there
fair
are some
bills.
There are
some fair boards that are starting to see that.
But we
and
need
they're
the whole
changing.
state to accept it. We need it to get accepted everywhere where everyone's
I
saying.
disagree with that.
Why?
Because you don't need the whole state to accept that. If you have the whole state accept that, you're going to be right in the same spot that you're at, where you're fighting for money and you're fighting for car count.
Yeah.
You need people that don't want to buy into it, and they're the ones that are going to fall off of the herd. And you've got
Utah
the
has
question.
every county fair over $5,000.
Yeah, but how many county fairs do they have, Josh?
Tons.
How many derbies do we
When-
have? In
Yes, we are flooded.
We are a
August?
hyper-saturated
the
market.
thing is, though, is like when we were out there,
Saturated
the year
market,
I
I
went,
agree with.
the year I went, we were talking with Gumby afterwards, and we were there on a Saturday, ran on a Saturday. The next day, there was a show like an hour away, 2 hours away, that was paying $85 or $10,000 to win. And he said everything there.
Everything.
Well,
just about everything's $10,000 to win, and there was one night that there was like $70,000 being paid out among 7 derbies in
Yeah,
a
I remember
6-hour
that.
radius.
Troy Tag. 2 years ago, Troy Tag and his family, son, went to Mania, didn't pass inspection, so they drove 2 hours south. And Troy won a feature, his wife won the powder puff, and the son finished second or something like that. And made.
Let me. We have a county fair start 7:00 at night. What would happen if it was 10,000 to win? We'd be there till 5, 6 o'clock the next day running cars.
I agree with that.
Well, look at Coos. I mean, the original Coos was like
This is
that.
where the difference in Utah. We were just out there in May. How many cars were there in May?
35
Not,
in May. Oh, in May.
May Mania. Total, all classes, all cars, everything else.
30-something.
I don't think it was over.
From start to finish, the show was what, 3 hours?
Yeah.
There was 150.
Yeah,
at
Halloween
Brookfield.
Havoc was what, like 60 between 60 and 70.
Yeah.
60 and 70.
Still, but their target range of getting a show,
Their goal is 3 hours.
their goal is 2.5 to 3 hours.
That's insane.
The goal here is, I mean, there is no goal.
Yeah, whenever it's done.
Well,
Yeah,
we-
but what
Keep
would
as
you
long
do
as-
if you
keep
had
them as long as you
150
sell hot
cars?
dogs.
I mean,
That's
Wheel
just
Days has got
about-
150.
So that just says that they must have a ton of derbies out there. If they're only getting like
Oh, yeah,
No.
they do.
25 to 35 cars per big event,
They don't have.
But every
they
event's a
don't
big
have as
event.
large a following.
That's the thing, is the money. The money's big at every show.
Yeah.
it just doesn't. It's,
It's
The
just
weird-
something
Mania's-
that-
you advertise that here, that kind of money. Oh man,
I don't agree.
I don't-
think
You'd probably scare some of the
You're
smaller
scared-
guys
you're
away.
scared guys away.
I think so, but you'd still hit 200.
It
I
would
bet.
take 200, yeah.
and we'd be there all day and all.
May
night.
Mania's got a $35,000 payout with a $5,000 Mad Dog award.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
insane.
They did screw with our head because like when we put on the original Coos, we got done at 3:30 in the morning and we started at 3, so it was 12 straight hours. Now,
Started
and
started
talking with
late
him,
at 3.
The
It started late at 3.
difference is the driving style. Your guys is a lot of forward, backwards. I mean, potentially in Utah, you could get hit one time and never move again in your car.
Yeah, but our heats are 8 to 10 minutes.
yeah, our heats are quick.
Yeah, our heats are quick.
Yeah.
Paul, do you think it's because of the following out there? That's why you don't get as many as at a show like we would, so to speak, I guess? Like 25 to 35 cars? I mean, that seems like there'd be like 80 cars at a show at that caliber.
I said this to Lazenby, and he tells me I'm full of shit. Around here, a lot of young guys that are I don't want to say scared. The young guys that would run in the compact division around here and go run Broome County and Tioga County, they are not pulling out on a Utah track in a full-size car. I don't think they can get enough. I think drivers are scared or intimidated by the tracks. I know people can say no, but no one's intimidated by tracks in New York. You go to Utah, I think they lose guys because guys say, like, I'm not getting into this sport. I just watched 7 guys get rolled over in 3 hours. And I think they're having a tough time finding new drivers.
They don't have a big compact division out there, though, right?
None. There's no compact.
Yeah, see, we have like 70
small cars
70 compacts
but
at
it's
the
rare.
one show we went to this year. There were 70 or 71 compacts. That
was the FTR
majority of the
show.
Yeah.
Is that true, Paul? Is that kind of the mentality out there? Like, they're kind of nervous to run the tracks?
I don't know. There's definitely not many young guys doing it anymore. I don't know what's going on. It's dying for sure. Every year there's less and less people out here, and they pay more money every year. So,
but Paul,
what's happening?
I think one thing across the country, and from like completely across the country, is the younger kids aren't into it like we were. Like, I mean, we all were working on vehicles when we were kids, you know.
See, I totally disagree because you go down to Blizzard Bash and there's 1,000 fucking young kids running in them divisions down there.
No, look at the youth. Look at the youth out there. They're the smallest seats they run out there, are the youth shows.
Youth shows,
I'm
talking about in the early 20s. Like, there is no 20-year-old kid looking at Paul Cox's heat and saying, like, you know what? I'm going to build a truck. I can go against this guy. No offense, Paul, but I think guys get scared. The less guys there are and the better, less cars but better drivers, guys start saying, like, I don't know if I want to get into these divisions. And I think Utah, I don't know. There's guys that are scared to even get into the sport out there.
I've almost kind of thought, like Gulley and I've talked about this before, that maybe it's all of us guys right here. It's the same age guys that have been doing it for a long time. And like you say, you don't see the young guys making that step up to the next level.
There's a few, but not many.
They're building compacts.
What's going to happen when we hang it all up here in the next, say, 5 to 10 years?
We won't. We're not smart enough to hang it up.
I'm retired
Well, age
already.
is going to catch up to us eventually.
Well, I think
agree.
the sport progressed at such a rapid rate, and the builds progressed, and the money accelerated so fast. It came to a point where it turned a lot of them off because how are they going to compete with that? They don't have the money to compete with that. Now we're starting to.
The money's catching up to the build a little bit.
Well, plus we're starting to go backwards. We're starting to retract back.
You'll see a lot of guys
to more stocker shows. Yes. I think you're going to see more of an influx in there.
See, I like when you look at my truck. Those guys will say, "Well, this is done." There's nothing. I have no cradle on my truck. Mm-hmm. I have no trans protector. I have pretty much all stock. I have a set of bumper shocks and a homemade bumper.
It's not that you couldn't afford it.
But I think
that's what I'm getting at. It ain't like it's overly built.
And you know, I'll get a lot of hate mail, but
I love when that
there's a lot of
I do
lazy.
love that.
You know what I'm
There's
saying?
no motivation in this generation to do anything.
That's what I'm getting at.
Are lazy and they don't want to put the time and work into it.
I
I
mean,
that's where you could build it. You could build one. Dan can start building trucks. Well, he does it now. He builds and sells them. Well,
Even Ben's getting at you.
It's a good point.
But there's a lot of market out there for guys, and a lot of guys are doing that.
Yes.
Toast was doing it.
Yes.
Just that for an Ohio guy. I mean, and there's several guys out there
That'll build them, yeah.
that were awesome, top-notch drivers and builders. They still do drive once in a while, but they build cars.
Just to sell.
Mike Brown.
Yep. Oh yeah. He built a ton.
You know what I mean? So the younger generation is more apt to, okay, I'm going to buy a car off him. I'm not going to spend the time to build it, but I'm going to buy it because he won with the stuff, and that's what I'm going to do. That's
Absolutely.
the mentality that's out there. I think a large majority of the mentality.
I agree with that.
The other thing is kids can go on the internet and read how to build a car, and they think just because they read how to put a distributor protector on.
Right.
And they're going to go out and they're going to stomp ass with it. And, well, they didn't do anything actually right. They got no trial and error into it, no research. They go out, they put this, they spend $10,000 to buy all the stuff and the motors and trannies and rear ends, and they don't put it together properly, or they skip steps. and then they make junk in 2 or 3 hits.
Or
and
break
they're
it.
Bad taste in your mouth.
Right, screw this stuff. And I bought all the best of the world, and I still can't win.
We saw that. We've
talk-
seen that.
Well, we were just talking about it before the show. There's a few people that they pretty much did. They spent
Absolutely.
tens of thousands of dollars on shit and just.
Well, that's one thing we've all said a million times is that you can't buy driving talent. You know, you
can't buy seat time.
No, you cannot do it. It's
Can't
just,
do it.
You know, and that's the thing. I mean, there is. You know, don't get me wrong. There are some great young builders and drivers. Logan Duvall, Colton Newhoff, and I mean, they're two of the best. They could go anywhere in America and win, undoubtedly. But they're just, you know, you go to the big shows and you don't see guys competing like them. You know what I mean? I mean, they're two young guys, but they can compete anywhere. But you just don't see that as much. I mean, obviously the Midwest you see more of it, but like you come back here. And
I
you
can't
know,
think of anybody off the top of my head in our area that's young. That's
Holden's about the only one I can think of.
But should
Holden
you see,
Smith is about the only one I can.
19 and 20-year-olds running Blizzard Bash? Not that they can't, but what I'm saying is, as far as seat time and respect level, they probably shouldn't even be there anyways. Not that they don't
Josh, you
deserve.
get beat by 19, 20-year-olds out of Blizzard Bash.
We're not talking about me.
about time somebody dug into him.
Daniel Ort,
Excuse me.
Kenny Rosno, Daniel Ort, the Frericks.
they're a little older. They're mid-20s, but you know. But the thing is, though, is they've grown up in that style of building.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
Right.
and that's what they're used to.
Prime example, Sam Williams' kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Christopher.
Chris.
Yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah, he can
You
drive.
know, that kid don't even. You know, he's what, 14.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
born and bred.
14.
He's ready.
and he's knocking guys that are twice his age.
Well,
It
he's
took
from
me
Utah.
about 15 years for it to finally slow down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, before I stop and think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it amazes me to go out there and see some of the talent that's on the track at 18 years old. This kid's got it. He's got it on his head already. You know what it takes to win, and some people don't ever get that. But you know it don't really matter. It's all about going out and having fun. If you want to go out to win, go out to win. I don't care. I'm not going to tell you how to drive your stuff. You know. But in the same sense, don't get pissed at me if you're sideways on the track and I come down and blast you, because that's how I like to do it, you know?
Exactly.
Hey, Paul, is
Well
there
said.
anybody that you wanted to make mention of here before we get out of here?
I don't think so. I'm about to lose you guys anyway. I'm driving home, so I'm about to
All
lose
right.
service.
Well, appreciate you coming on the show and joining us for a little while. We're looking forward to keeping track of how those builds are coming. By all means, have a great holiday here coming up, and let us know how things are progressing.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you guys.
Take it easy,
Thanks, Paul. We'll see you later. And just a reminder, Monday is the drop dead day, and after that, it's all locked in. And right now, I've only got 3 individual. Knew we were getting close. That was the battery. We've got 3 individual tickets left for New Year's. That's it, and we'll be sold out. So if you want those, jump online, shop.smashedempire.com. Doug Medlin is coming up. He's going to be raffling off. He's not coming himself. He's sending the DMM Bolton Cradle. We've got the 1975 Chrysler that Aaron Bunce is raffling off. Then we've got the door prize list, which includes that box Crown Vic with the black frame. We've got the Lumina that Jake Sherman has donated to us, and then we've got the Dodge also coming from Jeremy Gulley. Whole pile full of stuff going to be out there. We've got new apparel that's coming out. The Josh Decker shirts are going to be unveiled there. You'll be able to get a hold of those. Some of the new designs that we've been releasing through the course of the summer will be there. Some new stuff that nobody's seen is going to be there as well. Some of that stuff's going to be on the table. We've got roof sign credits, graphic credits. There's stuff from the magazine, DVDs, you name it. The table's going to be full. It's only $260 for a couple. That includes your overnight accommodations for 2, dinner passes for 2, 4 hours open bar, champagne toast at midnight, and then midnight snacks. Creekside Entertainment taking care of us on the DJ side of things. We will be doing our year-end awards. Got over a dozen awards to be given out in about 5-6 different categories. They're looking forward to that. Guys, thanks a lot for making the trip up. I know it's not easy to get here. Dano, you had to drive something like 2-3 hours to get here. I know Jeremy, he's got about 4 hours invested through the course of the day. Glad you guys could make it up, hang out and talk for a little while. Of course, Josh, if it wasn't for you, this show would have been a lot shorter.
Hey.
Wouldn't have been as much fun at start, though.
What was the final count for the people on me? See?
No, they all said Brian. Who's this fucking Brian guy?
Hang on, let me go look. What'd you say?
Who's this guy on the show? I've never seen him before.
Hey, Chris Gulley's got an ensemble of liquor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know nothing.
We're gonna have a
Let's
chug
see.
competition.
I don't even drink
That
anymore.
party's going to be a blast.
It was
Actually-
fun. Last year was funnier than shit.
Just a couple quick notes. Walton track, 320 feet long, no promoters. In our area, want to do the legwork to get sponsors. Promoters don't promote. They just run a derby, nothing more.
Absolutely.
A couple interesting thoughts coming in there.
Absolutely.
So that was kind of neat. Yeah, we got to a lot of people, and we got well short of your goal of 100.
Damn.
So, sorry.
Some promoters just think like if you just show up and put the derby on that you've done a great job. But I'm telling you that's not true. I'll leave it at that.
It's hard. Until you deal with county fair boards, it's hard.
The biggest thing I think, the biggest issue and problem I think with New York promoters is very few of them travel. I think
They don't go to other derbies.
I think in order to
Absolutely.
be a good promoter, you have to travel. You have to
100%.
see what works and how to improve things.
100%.
That's. I mean, you look at the biggest names and promoters in America.
They travel.
They travel.
Look, Tim and Russ, prime example. They go to every goddamn derby there is.
Everything.
And they constantly talk about things that they thought about at this derby that we're thinking about doing. I like or not like.
But he puts it
and I love
out
Tim
there
and
for
Russ.
the drivers. You see his thing there the other day. He asked the drivers what they,
That's why he has 650 cars.
I mean, that's awesome.
True statement.
There is a couple promoters that do travel, but they don't apply it.
Okay, I agree with that.
Also true. That's going to do it for
Plus,
this
they know
one.
everything
Episode
already.
number 160 in the books. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us here for a solid hour and a half plus on this edition. We'll be back here, most likely be back here next Monday for another edition of the Crash Course 161 coming up then. We'll see you next Monday.
26. Yeah.
The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com. The 2015 Wadena Grand Slam. Boat Lockwood Motorsports and the 2015 Keystone National. Scioppa Racing and ScioppaRacing.com. Ultimate Derby and Blizzard Bash 2015. Demo Derby Masters. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel at RecklessAbandonGear.com. And Derby Inc. Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.